Hello, higher historians, and welcome to your next lesson on the Cold War Issue 3 essay writing. So this PowerPoint is going to discuss a wee bit on the Cold War Issue 3, which is the Cuban Missile Crisis, how to write an essay on this section, and this should help and support you when it comes to writing your essay. Okay, so again, just a quick recap of your marks for your essay. So 22 marks in total. So remember, your introduction is worth 3 marks. You need context, so background. You need to make sure that you have a line of argument, and you need to have your factors in your introduction. 6 knowledge marks, 6 analysis, remember broken down to analysis and analysis plus, 4 evaluation and 3 conclusion. So worth 22 marks in total. Now, how to write an essay on this topic. Now, this question is asking you to consider the reasons for the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Now, you're not looking to describe what happened in the crisis. Remember, we did cover that in our first lesson looking at Cuba, but you're looking to discuss why the crisis actually happened and come to a conclusion on which one you feel is the most important reason for the crisis happening. Now, in your answer, what you can write about is the following factors. So you've got Castro's victory in Cuba, you have US foreign policy, you've got Khrushchev's domestic position, Khrushchev's view of Kennedy, and the arms race. Now remember, one of these factors will probably be in the question, which I'll show you in a moment, and this is known as an isolated factor question. So your question, which you're going to answer, is to what extent was US foreign policy the main reason for the Cuban crisis of 1962? So this is worth 22 marks, and this is from the 2016 past paper. Okay, so that is your question there. To what extent was US foreign policy the main reason for the Cuban crisis of 1962? 22 marks. So obviously US foreign policy is in the question, so you need to discuss that. You need to decide if you think it was US foreign policy or if it was another reason that was the main reason for the Cuban crisis of 1962. Now, your introduction for this essay. So I've put this together to help you, and you can use this in your introduction as well. So we have background here. So in 1959, Fidel Castro led a successful left-wing revolution in Cuba, overthrowing the right-wing leader Batista, thus deteriorating relations with right-winged America. This deteriorating relationship and aggressive American policy forced Cuba towards communist Soviet Russia, which increased the competition of the arms race between the two superpowers and eventually led to the Cuban Missile Crisis. By October 1962, the USSR and the US, despite being only 15 seconds from a nuclear war at one point, had managed to defuse the situation. So there's 3 sentences there, just a wee bit of background to set the scene to this topic. Then your factors. So US foreign policy played a very important role in starting the Cuban Missile Crisis, as an aggressive foreign policy led to heightened tensions contributing to the crisis. However, there were many other factors, some more important. Now, although it says there some more important, if you think that it was foreign policy that was most important, then you could take that out. That's some more important. Those 3 words there, you could take them out if you feel it was US foreign policy that was the most important. That led to the Cuban Missile Crisis, including blank, blank and blank. So you decide which 3 factors you would like to discuss. And in your line of argument, evidence strongly suggests that blank was the most important factor in the start of the Cuban Missile Crisis. So you decide which reason you think is the most important for the Cuban Missile Crisis happening. So that's your background, factors and line of argument there. So you can use this as a framework to help you writing this introduction. If you want to write your own, you can, and you can just use this to help you, or you can use what's here as well. Okay, so you have this introduction to help you. Then the main body of your essay. Remember FIDO, so factor, information, debate, overall. To break that down even further, topic sentence. So as your factor, KU, so information, analysis, debate. KU, more information, analysis, debate, analysis plus, and then overall your evaluation. Now remember, again, you'll see in this structure we've got topic sentence, KU, analysis, then analysis plus. Because remember again, all the factors you discuss are reasons for the Cuban Missile Crisis happening. Your analysis plus, you just need to think about why are they not as important to the Cuban Missile Crisis happening. Okay, when you're thinking about evaluation for this essay, so remember the factors that you can discuss. You've got Castro's victory, you have the arms race, US foreign policy, Khrushchev's domestic position, and Khrushchev's view of JFK. So before you write this essay, even in your jotters, you can draw a triangle like this and rank your factors from what you feel is the most important down to the least important. Now remember, for your most important factor in your evaluation, you need to argue why is this the most important reason for the Cuban Missile Crisis happening, and then for your other factors you need to say, well, here's why they were quite important, but this is why my most important factor is more important. So just to give you an example here, this is if you were arguing that US foreign policy is the most important reason. Now you might disagree with this, you might think it's another factor, but this is just an example here to show you. So let's say you're discussing Khrushchev's domestic position, you've just finished that paragraph there, so you're at the end, so you're saying, in evaluation, Khrushchev's domestic position played a role in the crisis because it forced the US as a leader to make aggressive decisions in order for him to be superior. However, US foreign policy remains a pivotal factor as the fact that the USA adopted such an aggressive foreign policy and hard stance towards communism caused a breakdown in relations with Cuba. Had US foreign policy not been as aggressive, positive relations could have been kept with Cuba, which would have stopped them making an alliance with the Soviets and prevented Khrushchev being able to use Cuba to boost his own position. So although you're arguing there, yes, Khrushchev's domestic position did maybe force him to make aggressive decisions, you're saying there that US foreign policy is more important because had it not been for US foreign policy, then Cuba may never have actually turned against America and allied with the Soviet Union. So arguably that makes US foreign policy more important. Now again, that's just an example, you don't need to go with that, you may argue that it is a different reason. Okay, for your conclusion, so when you're coming to your conclusion at the end of your essay, so again you can use this framework to help you. So in conclusion, there were many factors which led to the Cuban crisis. However, blank, so whatever one you feel was the most important factor in causing the crisis because. Then you're looking to summarise your other factors. So on one hand, blank was important because, however, blank was more important as. So remember, you're going back to your most important factor there. On the other hand, blank was also important as, however, blank, so again back to your most important, was still more important as. And then the cherry on top of the cake at the end, overall it was blank, that is the most important reason for the Cuban crisis because, so you really hammer home your argument there at the end. So that is your conclusion for this essay. Okay, so over to you now. So what you're looking to do is to use this PowerPoint and your notes from last week to complete this essay. So remember, the notes that you made last week in your jotter on the Cuban crisis, you should have your paragraphs there already. So you could use them there, and it's just a case of adding in your evaluation, your introduction, your conclusion. So use this PowerPoint, your notes from last week to complete this essay, and make sure you upload your completed essay via Teams. If you have any questions at all about the essay, if there's anything that you're unsure about, then obviously just let myself or Mrs. Forte know. Thank you very much.